tell you how you can actually apply some of those gifts and talents for kingdom growth, but to help others. And I'm not going to steal his thunder. Mike, come on up here. This is Mike Dorman. Give him a big dojo round of applause.
Okay, I hope y'all are okay with me standing down here because I seem to move around a lot because when my feet aren't moving, my brain's not working. So we're going to continue to try to work this out. First of all, thank you for a wonderful breakfast and a new cooking lesson on how to use my waffle iron when I get home. First and foremost, I want to tell you, I couldn't do this without God in my life. So today, while I'm talking, I want you to think about three things. One, is God calling you? Number two, when God calls you, are you going to be able to hear Him for all the external noises in your life? And then third, are you willing to give up on your plans to follow His? See, that's where I was in 2007. I was in Hunting Island, South Carolina. I was sitting on the shore watching the sun rise and the waves break on the beach. And God said, hey, I've got a different plan for your life. And we started revisiting my life growing up here in North Carolina and serving in the Coast Guard for 20 years, becoming a general contractor after that. And then God laid out for me, here's where I want you to go with the knowledge that I have given you. And that's how Military Missions in Action got started. Now for us, we identified some things that we thought were a call to action. When you look at the fact that we had over 60,000 of our young men and women who have returned from this conflict with serious injuries or disabilities that could not live in their home on their own without modifying their home. So we started a program called Operation Building Hope. And that's where we go in and we modify homes for those who have physical disabilities, those veterans with physical disabilities, so they can live independently. But the difference is we don't care if it's a young Marine who just returned from Afghanistan or a World War II veteran who can no longer get in and out of their home. See, now there's a lot of great nonprofits out there working with veterans. But a lot of them, they only focus on post 9/11. How about all of us who served before that? See, my grandfather, he flew on B-24s in World War II. He was shot down. He spent 14 months in Stalag 17B. And near the end of his life, he was in his 80s, and he had to move into a retirement center because his home was no longer capable of him living there on his own. And every time I would go see him, he would say, I feel like I'm back in that POW camp because I can't go home. No one who ever served this country should leave this world feeling like that. Now, our second program is called Homes for Healing. This is about working with previously homeless veterans. On any given night in the United States, we have over 60,000 veterans sleeping on the streets. Over 8,000 here in the state of North Carolina. So the VA has a program to try to solve the homeless veteran problem. And they're giving vouchers to veterans that are chronically homeless, and they're moving them into apartments. The only problem is when they move in that apartment, all they have with them is what they had on the street. I call it homeless in a home. When I'm sleeping on the floor and I can't cook or boil water, I'm still pretty homeless, though I have shelter over my head. So this last year, we were able to outfit over 125 homes with everything from beds to pots, pans, lamps, couches, whatever they needed to be able to live independently. And that's the things that people have donated to us and partnered with us. Now we have a little program called a Warrior Golf. It's probably the smallest program we do. And that's where we get together and we collect gently used golf clubs, and then we take them to Fort Bragg, to the Warrior Transition Barracks, and to Camp Lejeune, or Lejeune now, where the Wounded Warrior Battalion East is at. And we give them to those who are using golf as a means of rehabilitation. Last year we gave out over 300 sets of golf clubs to those members so that they could use golf as a means of rehabilitation. Now, we have a military child program. It's called our Military Child Access, Assistance, and Development Program. It's got 3 pillars to it. The first is about accessibility for military children who have special needs, because TRICARE, their insurance, does not cover ramps, rails, and handicap accessibilities for those families who have children with special needs. So we build wheelchair ramps, we put in handrails for them. Our second part of that is a social inclusion part for those military children with special needs. So this year, we will be kicking off our first prom. It's going to be at the Iron Mike Convention Center for military children with special needs throughout the state. So it's open to active duty, reserve, National Guard families who have children with special needs, that we're going to do a prom that they may never have ever been able to attend a traditional prom. That's going to be on July 29th. And then next year, that same prom will be held in D.C., and then it's going to come back to North Carolina for the rest of the time. The reason we have to do one in D.C., Elizabeth O'Brien, her dad's Sergeant Major now, she started with me when she was 12. She's 18 now. She just finished her freshman year at the University of High Point. She'll be competing for Miss North Carolina as Miss Thomasville in June. She received an award from the Military Child of the Year, their Innovation Award. It was the first one they ever did, and she had to come up with a project. And we met with a bunch of different people up in the D.C. area, and they said the number one requested thing was a prom for those children. So therefore, we do that. Now, the third part of our military child program is called Operation Rescue Christmas. And this is just where we go in and we help those active duty families at E3, E4, E2, and below that have kids that need a little extra assistance during the holiday season. Now, most of the people know about Toys for Tots, right? How many of you know that none of the toys collected by Toys for Tots go to our service members and their families? Because they can't collect for themselves. They can only collect for the community. Operation Rescue Christmas focuses only on our active duty, reserve, guard, and veterans who have returned to have children, and it might need a little assistance during the holiday season. So we collect gift cards, we collect a few toys. We also the gift cards are both grocery stores and department stores. Because for me, a child's good Christmas may be 10 toys. For that family, a good Christmas may be 2 toys per child, a hot meal, and keeping the power on. You know, it's not for us to make that decision. Now, our last program is called the Fill the Foot Locker program. And that is about supporting 2 groups. One, those servicemen and women who are deployed. And number 2, those who are currently living on the street. The veterans who, by either choice, circumstance, addiction, find themselves without a place to live, and they're living on the street. So let's talk about them first, and then we'll talk about the care packages. So what we do there is we team up with other groups, and we do the homeless veteran stand-downs. So we travel throughout the state of North Carolina, and we team up with the Lions Club, dentist office, barbers, the VA, employment security, colleges, and we set up a stand-down, and they bring them homeless veterans in to receive services. Now, Military Missions in Action, we give stuff away. That's what we do. We give out health and hygiene items. We give out new socks, new underwear, new shoes, new boots. In the winter, we give out gently used coats and blankets. And the reason we try to give out new things is because they need to know that their life is just as important as anyone else's. Because when they start feeling like it's not, then we run into the problem where they start contemplating suicide. And when we're already losing 24 veterans a day due to suicide, anything we can do, we need to do to try to cut that number down. Now, I go to a life coach sometimes. He asked me one day, he said, "Mike, how do you know you're giving them what you need?" I said, "I don't. Give them what I've got." So it made me start thinking. So I couldn't grow my hair out, so I grew a beard. I went and spent 4 days, 3 nights on the streets with our homeless vets in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Anybody want to guess the number one item on day 2 I would have paid dearly for? Toilet paper. Yes. Now it was 38 degrees, it was raining, it was in February, it was cold, but I'd have paid dearly for a roll of toilet paper because you just never think about it. It's always there when you go in the room, right? But when you're living out on the street, there's no room, and there's no toilet paper hanging on the wall. So I would have paid dearly for that. The other thing I realized was this company made some really neat cardboard boxes for us to put our stuff in. It had our logo on it, so thank you for your service. It was really cool. But all the vets down the street did was took that cardboard box, dumped stuff in a backpack, and threw it on the ground. Now on day 2, I told you it was 38 degrees and raining. I'd have loved to have a Ziploc baggie. Keep my extra pair of socks dry. So now we put everything in the Ziploc baggie, hand it to them in a Ziploc baggie so they can use the stuff, and then turn around and use that Ziploc baggie for something else at another time. Now, the other part of our program is called, our Fill the Foot Locker, is about supporting our men and women who are serving overseas. Now, it doesn't matter how we feel about this conflict. We've asked these men and women to go do a job, and we need to show them that we support them and we care about them. Number one morale booster for someone serving overseas right now is a care package from home. I've been on both ends, the receiving end and the shipping end, so I know how important it is. You know, back in the 70s when I joined the Coast Guard, I told them I wanted to go somewhere a long way from home, but it didn't snow. So they shipped me to Guam. Told me I'd love it. Said there was a girl behind every tree. I spent 5 years over there looking for trees. Yeah. I grew up here in North Carolina, and I got used to some staples in my life. I like Cheerwine soft drink. I like nabs. For those who don't know what a nab is, it's Lance Cracker. I like RC Colas and moon pies. I got to Guam, I couldn't get any of those things. So when I would get a care package from home, it told me that they knew who I was still and where I was, and there was something in that box that I couldn't get from home. Now, Joseph Brown, young Marine, who lost both of his legs in Iraq, I was up at Walter Reed, Bethesda, visiting him one day. I said, if you were still in Iraq, I said, tell me 3 things that I could send you from here. He said, baby wipes, socks, and beef jerky. I said, all right, out of everything I could send you from the United States, why are those 3 things you want? He said, I got to Iraq. He said, I took a shower. He said, 156 days later, I took a second shower. He said, so the baby wipes allow me to continue to keep myself clean. He said, as long as I have my feet are healthy, I can continue to do my job for the socks. He said, the beef jerky is lightweight, it's high in protein, and it can be 150 degrees in that Humvee, and you can still eat it. How many of you are in the military now or have served? How many of you been deployed? You been there? Yeah. Now, Danielle, a young female helicopter pilot, she was stationed in Afghanistan. She sent us a note and said, hey, next time you send a care package, would you send me a pair of pink shower shoes? I have to feel like a woman every chance I get. Now, the picture I saw of that Marine's rack with him sleeping in those shower shoes under it, I think she had more fun with those shower shoes than just wearing them and making her feel like a woman. Another group of Marines on the front line, they were living in tents, eating MREs, except when they would come back to the forward operating base, ask us if we would send them some canned food. So we shipped them 2 cases of Chef Boyardee raviolis. Most of us, unless we have kids, don't even buy Chef Boyardee raviolis. For them that night, they said we put it all together. We had Italian night. They said it was like a gourmet meal. And when you're eating MREs every day, you can get a can of Chef Boyardee, you will think you're eating a gourmet meal. So these are some of the things that we have going on. Now our care package program has care for the canines. That's where we collect items and ship to our military working dogs. We have movies for the military where we collect gently used DVDs. We put movie candies and popcorn in it so that we can label the box movie night. And those who are not on the front line can have something to do in their downtime. For every trigger puller, there's 9 support people behind them. So those trigger pullers are really busy. Sometimes the guys on the back line are not as busy and they have more downtime. And they've got to have something to occupy their time. So that's why we send those down. Most of them have a laptop. They can take that movie. They can put it in their laptop. They can watch it. They can continue on. We have a program called Keep 'Em Cool. That's where we collect suntan lotions, water flavoring, things that they need, just those cooling rags that go around the neck, things like that. Just keep them cool when it's 138 degrees there. I know when I talked to Mason Poe one day, young Marine, he lost his leg in Iraq, and he said, I never thought I'd be freezing when it was in the 90s. He said, but when it's 136 and you've sweated all day and it drops down to 92, he said, you're looking for a coat because you are cold. Same thing when I was stationed in Guam. It never got below 70 in Guam. So when I went to California and it was 60, I thought I was going to freeze to death. And they were all running around in shorts. So we do that. But also, we send them a box that reminds them of home. Things that are from here. Texas Pete, anything that was grown here. We send them Krispy Kreme coffees, Lance crackers, the Lance peanut bars, any of those kind of things, just to remind them of home. Now the question is, how do we do things together? So let's walk back all the way to the beginning where it's Operation Building Hope. As a group, you can pledge to do one project a year. Just one. Whether that be a wheelchair ramp, whether helping modify a bathroom. And bathrooms can be challenging. I just did one with the Wake Forest JORTC, which are high school students. Got a little overzealous, I think, because on day 2 we were standing on the ground with no floor joist, looking outside the house with no studs. But at the end of 7 days, we had it put back together. The only thing that was holding this veteran's bathtub in place was the plumbing. Other than that, it would have been sitting on the ground. He was a Vietnam vet from Navy, suffers from really bad PTSD, and that's what he needed. So the students came together with me and we did that. So you can do a wheelchair ramp on a weekend. You can help modify a bathroom. It may be something as simple as going putting handrails up and putting in comfort height toilets for a Korean War veteran. Now our Homes for Healing program, remember that's where we go in and we help them, the previously homeless vets, live independently. When you're getting ready to replace that sofa or change your guest room to a sewing room or a workout room and you need to get rid of the furniture there, or you're upgrading your TV from a 32-inch to a 55-inch and you need to find a home. Now, with that said, most of my volunteers are over 70, so those 400-pound TVs they can't carry. Okay? When you buy a new set of pots and pans, or your husband gives you a new vacuum cleaner for your birthday. Guys, don't ever do that. And you need a home for the old one, give us a call. We'll come get it. You can donate it. But you also can help with deliveries. Every month we deliver to at least 10 families. Sometimes it's a single veteran. Sometimes it's a veteran with children. But every month we deliver. We need volunteers to help load the truck, take the truck to where we're going, help deliver the furniture and set up their apartments. Because like I said, most of my volunteers are in their 70s, and they're getting tired of those third-floor walk-ups. So they also don't pick up sleeper sofas. But we need help picking up stuff and delivering that stuff to different families. Now our Warrior Golf program, really easy. If you've got a set of extra golf clubs in your garage that you've never figured out what to do with, call us. We'll give you a tax credit, and we can get them to someone else that can use them. Our Military Child program. You can help us with the upcoming prom if you're interested in something like that. Or when it hits around Black Friday and we start talking about Operation Rescue Christmas, you can team up with us for that, to collect gift cards for those families. Our Fill the Foot Locker program, where we can get together and we can put together vet bags. How many people have in their bathroom a drawer that you open up? It's got a whole bunch of hotel samples in the bottom of it. I know I do. I keep them for guests when they come in. We take those hotel samples, put them in with a Ziploc baggie, toothbrush, toothpaste, and we hand them out right at the homeless veteran stand down so they can walk in the shower, utilize it, and put it back in that bag and take it with them. We can collect those things. We can come together and put those packs together. Care packages. Probably the easiest thing and the things that most people get reward doing is packing a box to send it to someone overseas. So you can do where, all right, each month I've heard you have First Sunday breakfast, right? So you can do themes. You can say, okay, this Sunday, we're going to collect baby wipes. Next month, we're going to collect beef jerky. Next month, we're going to collect toothbrushes. And you can do theme nights and give it to us to ship to our troops overseas. Or you could say, okay, look, for the next 30 days, we're going to collect items of all kinds to ship to our men and women serving overseas. Then we come together right here in this room. Together, we pack these boxes and then we'll ship them overseas. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved. And unlike Habitat, you don't have to be 16, 17, or 18 to work with us. Any age can help do what we do. A lot of schools now are requiring community service. We have any scouts in here? We also work with both Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts for either their Eagle or their Gold Award. So there's always opportunity for kids to work with us also. Now, anybody have any questions about what we've covered so far? One of the questions that everybody wants to know the answer to, but nobody wants to ask, is what do you do with your money? 97 cents of every dollar we bring in goes back out to what we do. We have 5 employees, and if you add everybody's salary together, it comes to $59,000. That's for 5 people. That's not each. That's the total for 5 people. We're very fortunate, and God has blessed us in many ways. Our office in Southern Pines is 100% donated by the VFW, rent, utilities, and internet. And our office in Fuquay Varina has been donated for the last 9 years. Our office, our utilities, our internet. Miranda, who runs our office in Southern Pines, her husband, 82nd, 100% disabled, after 9 years, retired. Marilyn, who's in the office here now, who is very due, and she's expecting, she says around the 27th of June, but it looks like she's going to explode any day. 7 years Army. Her husband, Matt, 100% disabled Marine. Mindy, who's in our office now, she just remarried, but her first husband committed suicide on active duty. Angie, she's our bookkeeper. She's the one that has no military ties whatsoever, and she looks at me and says, I have no idea what y'all are talking about, so therefore nobody else is going to know either. All right, so that's a little bit about what we do. Anybody have any questions about it? Anybody figure out a way that you might be able to help out what we're doing? And there's many ways, not just those that I came up with. Any other questions? Back to that first question. Today, as you're at your service, just remember, is God calling you? Number 2, look at your life. Are you so busy with everything else that you're not allowing yourself time to hear God? And then the last one, when God, because He will. He gives us all gifts that He wants us to use. When God calls you, are you going to be willing to give up on your plans to follow His? But I will tell you this, when you do that, your whole life will change in ways that you never believed. I'm going to leave some information in the back for you. Please take what you want. And once again, thank y'all very much for allowing me to be here today.